Some would say mercifully, the draft is over, but it's probably just the crotchety old media, Kevyn Adams, that would say that, because you came out of it with this energy and enthusiasm that made me wonder, are you in fact the most patient person in hockey?
Well, it was long, but I enjoyed every minute of it. You know, it was a great experience. I'm proud of the staff. I'm proud of all the hard work that went into it. And you know, as you go through things, I learned this as a player. If you don't enjoy it while you're in it, you're missing out. So I always remind myself of that. Like, this is fun, and in times of stress or, you know, things get intense, it's still, we're lucky to be doing this. So it was great.
Yeah, and I think because you had reinforced that going into it, I think it was obvious when you started answering that nothing has changed for you. You're still enjoying every moment, and also things do go by quickly when you're as busy as you are in between picks, which is obvious now with what's going on in the league and having to qualify players. But before we get into all that kind of stuff, I mean, how about a word or two on each of your picks now that they're in the stable, so to speak, sure. Starting with Jack Quinn.
Yeah, I think the just huge upside, goal scorer, scores in a lot of different ways, and it's more than a one word or two. But we're excited about him. He's a high character. You know, I know our media got introduced to him last night, and he's just a good kid who we really believe is going to keep getting better.
And J.J. Peterka was first one today.
Yeah, a lot to like there. We think his high motor, high compete, great athlete, plays the men's league where he's already been tested and had to play against bigger, older, stronger, faster guys. We really think that J.J. is a guy that we were so fortunate to get where we got.
I'll introduce this one as a junior Sabre, and you can do the rest.
Yeah, Mateo it's a unique one for me. He was training at the Academy of Hockey when he was probably 12, 13 years old. So I've seen him over the years progress as a player. I've seen him mature as a person. He's got great habits. He really took off last year in the 20U team with the Junior Sabres, one of the top goal scorers. He's a college North Dakota commit where they're just going to enforce good habits, reinforce good habits, and high character, great family. Can't say enough good things about Mateo. I'm happy for him.
All right, Albert Lycasson was one of the 7th round selections, a defenseman from Sweden.
Yeah, Albert has good upside, up the ice, offensive defenseman, good analytics around him where, you know, there's a lot to be excited about. And, you know, as you get later in the draft, you're looking for what do you think could be something that, you know, turns that late Victor Olofsson, a late round pick, into something that they become in the NHL. And there's traits that he has that we think could do that.
Konechny is already in the conference with Philadelphia, but this is a different one from the Czech Republic. And Jacob, what do you know, and how did you learn a little more about him at the end?
Yeah, we did a lot of work on speed. The kid can skate, slight, undersized centerman, but again, when you're looking at a kid that age and you think, okay, if they mature and they get a little bigger and stronger, he already has great pace. Yeah, we think he's a guy late in the draft that we felt the speed and the pace that he plays at could be a huge asset for him.
The unknown for you going into this for the first time would have been, and you know yourself pretty well, but how do you feel you handled confrontation within the group when it ultimately came down to making that decision?
Yeah, so it's a great question, Brian. I think I love debate. I have no problems, and I've made this clear to our staff, that we don't all want to say the same things, and we shouldn't always agree, because then we probably don't need all to be here. So I really try to foster an environment where we challenge each other, we debate, and it's not personal. It's about getting to the right answer. And as the draft process plays out, the getting to the right answer is whose name are we going to call. So I encourage that, and there's times where I'm in the middle of it, and there's times where maybe I'm more listening, and then I'll come in and say, well, this makes sense, or well, why'd you say that? You know, so I'm kind of trying to ask probing questions, and I'm pulling information out. So that happened for the last 2 days a lot, in a healthy way. And the most important part of all of that is, and something that I've reinforced to the staff, is regardless of where you are and you have these debates and scouts challenge each other, when we call a person's name, they're a Buffalo Sabre. And that's now we're all together on it, and that's the exciting part.
qualified a number of players today that are restricted free agents, but one that obviously garnered an awful lot of attention amidst the media was Dominic Cahoon. You cited flexibility moving forward in the short term with still a hope of being able to work something out with him. When you phrase it that way, and you also have an eye on what's going on around the league, how much more bulk is there in the free agent market potentially because of some of the moves that are being made? I say moves, maybe not a move when you don't qualify someone, but how has the landscape maybe changed a little here in the last 24 hours as far as how it might look on Friday?
Yeah, it's definitely played a part of this. You think this is a unique offseason. We felt that the market could have more players in it than traditionally, based on just maybe where teams are with the cap, or decisions they may have to make, decision they don't want to make, but because of where they are, they have to make it. So I think flexibility is key. But I want to make it clear, we said to Dominic's agent, we like him as a player. We're going to have continued conversations tonight, and we'll see where this plays out. But it's not so much about him and not qualifying as it is just to make sure we're giving ourselves flexibility.
It also makes you wonder when you look at the number of contracts you have on the books. I would ask, might you be more involved in free agency than some might have anticipated, or might you be anticipating more kind of in-house guys already to maybe make the jump? Names that sometimes get overlooked, Arttu Ruotsalainen, players like that, when it ultimately comes time to get back on the ice.
Yeah, I think it's a great question, because I think it's really important, first, if you're putting the proper development plan in place and you are looking to build from within, that's a really important place to start. And you want to make sure as you're building your roster that you're leaving yourself the availability for your internal talent to grow and to become Buffalo Sabres. So it's both. It's projecting, it's thinking about where the roster is, it's also thinking about who's out there in the league, and then it's thinking about, okay, to me, it's as you put a roster together and you think of the mix, sometimes it's not always about the name that everybody is talking about that may be the key. It may be someone else that you identify fills a role or does something that you feel you need, and as the coaches put their thoughts down. I mean, this is a big Ralph Kruger and I conversation, his coaching staff. So all that plays into it, but I guess the whole point of it is you want to make sure that you always give your players from Rochester that have earned the right to become Buffalo Sabres the chance to be there. You don't ever box them out, because that's the whole development plan. So we're going to make sure we do that.
Very good. Thank you for all of this time during this, and I'm sure we'll be chatting again here in the next 48 hours.
Yep, looking forward to it.
Thanks.